Hi, I'm Slava. Welcome to Kitchen Garden Therapy, where I share my gardening experience with you. And today I would like to talk about transitioning your seedlings. So I have started my cool season vegetables and flowers under the grow lights upstairs, and it's warm over there. Now that they have established themselves a little, they grew bigger, I decided to move them into my sunroom, which is a non-heated room, but it gets pretty warm because it has a lot of windows, so it doesn't have grow lights anymore, but a lot of sunlight. As you can see here, I have my ranunculus sprouting together with my broad beans, also known as fava beans. And they are growing here nicely. I have started them in January and they grew pretty big by now. These are my pansies. I started them on January 1st from seed, and now I transplanted them into these individual containers, little tiny pots from dollar store. They're growing nice. They are getting bigger and bigger. I'm hoping that in beginning of March, I'll be able to take them outside into my greenhouse so they can get used to the outdoor temperatures, because this room, even though not heated, it's still kind of warm. And in this tray, I have a ton of pansies that I haven't transplanted yet into individual pots, and I'm not even sure if I'll have time to transplant it. Most likely I'll just leave it in this tray until it's time to take it outside and plant it there. I started quite a few pansies, to be honest. I think it's way too much, but that's okay. I also have a few more pansies here on top shelf, some spinach and mustard, all growing nicely here. And this is a tray with lettuces. So this is like a dark and light romaine lettuce. Also started under lamps upstairs, and now I moved it here. A little bit of artichokes and snapdragons here. I still need to take care of them and transplant them, but I haven't had a chance to do that. And this shelf over here, I have my cabbages. So I have things like broccoli, cauliflower, romanesco, regular heading cabbage, all kinds of different varieties. I started all of them in January, and I'm hoping to transplant them outside in March. Undercover, of course. I am practicing undercover growing, so like row covers, plastic, frost blankets, stuff like that. And last year I experimented with growing undercover and I liked it a lot. I was able to start harvesting in April after transplanting my vegetables in March. I also have some tatsoi and pak choi over here. I really love those Asian vegetables. They're so cute. A little bit of everything. Also, I have some strawberries. Remember, I was planting bare root strawberry plants. So I had started them in these pots, and I added a few pansies in between. Also, there is like a couple of onions in there as well, like a mixed container. So now that I moved my cold hardy vegetables into my sunroom, which is cooler, I have room under my grow lights. So I had transplanted these tomatoes, which were in a tiny little seedling starts. Now I upgraded them into larger pots, and that's where they're going to stay until I transplant them outside. So these tomatoes are the cold hardy varieties. Also, I started some eggplants and a few peppers. Not that many. My main harvest of tomatoes and peppers will be started later. I still have some over here in little tiny cells that I didn't transplant. I have some hot peppers and some eggplants in here, but I am planning to get to them this week. And let me show you my hydroponics. Something exciting is happening in here. I already showed it yesterday in my shorts, but let me give you a closer look. Do you see what this is? This is a peas. Yes, I am going to have a harvest of indoor hydroponically grown peas soon. Of course, this is very tiny, small, but still, I never had indoor growing peas before, so that's an experiment. This is a variety called Tom. Very interesting dwarf variety of peas. And of course, I have a few other things in here. Pak choy, tatsoi, mustard. I have some spinach in here, and they're all growing really nice. We have been harvesting already, like the outer leaves. I also have a couple of tomatoes in here, and they all are growing in water hydroponically. You can see all the roots dipping in the water. And I also have more hydroponic. So these are tomatoes that are almost ready to bloom. I'm very excited, very happy to see that. And these are dwarf varieties of tomatoes. This one is called Tumbler, and there is also another one called Red Robin. I have a few different dwarf tomatoes, and this one, as you can see, is also getting ready to bloom. So hopefully next week when they're blooming, we will see little tiny tomatoes forming. I have more peas started in here, as you can see, some mustard in there and spinach, and a tiny little tatsoi, and a lot of lettuce and basil. We go through a lot of greens, so I'm happy to be able to grow my own lettuce indoors, even in winter. And they are not only looking good, they also taste good as well. This basil is so aromatic. As soon as you touch it, you move it, you have the whole living room smelling like basil. I love it. So if you haven't tried yet, please give hydroponics a try. It's an exciting method.